Hello! Today, in our traditional Saturday edition, we'll talk about a very interesting and significant event, our beloved Tony Iommi's participation in the legendary band Jethro Tull. This is a kind of mythology of rock and roll. We've always said, and will continue to repeat, that rock music is full of legends, interpretations, and myths. These myths don't appear out of nowhere. They arise from speculation, rumors, and manipulations. However, in this case, we are dealing with a documented fact. It was recorded in the film The Rolling Stones' Rock and Roll Circus, which was filmed on December 11, 1968, in London, and later released on DVD in 1996. This iconic event brought together an incredible lineup, featuring John Lennon, The Who, and, of course, the Rolling Stones. Also present was Marianne Faithfull, Mick Jagger's girlfriend at the time. It was an extraordinary gathering of rock's elite, aiming to capture the spirit of the era. Although the film was initially met with mixed reactions, to put it mildly, over time it became a rock and roll classic, largely due to the legendary figures involved. During the event, Jethro Tull performed A Song for Jeffrey, with Tony Iommi on guitar. He appeared in his signature suede jacket and hat, his face barely visible. Before the performance, Iommi was quite nervous, as he found himself among such legendary musicians. However, more than anything, he was excited about the chance to see Eric Clapton up close. At that time, Clapton was considered the god of guitar, but when Tony finally saw him play, he wasn't particularly impressed. Instead, he was far more fascinated by The Who, especially Pete Townshend, who delivered an outstanding solo performance. But how did Tony Iommi end up playing with Jethro Tull while still being a member of Earth, the original name of Black Sabbath? Let's go over the timeline. At that time, Black Sabbath didn't exist yet. Earth was actively touring and even opened for Jethro Tull, who were already gaining recognition. As Iommi recalls in his autobiography Iron Man, My Journey Through Heaven and Hell with Black Sabbath, during one of their concerts, Jethro Tull's guitarist, Mick Abrahams, suddenly announced that he was leaving the band. He was unhappy with the musical direction, Ian Anderson's controlling nature, and the overall atmosphere. Without hesitation, Anderson offered the position to Tony Iommi, as the band had already committed to filming The Rolling Stones' Rock and Roll Circus, and they needed a guitarist. Iommi discussed it with his bandmates, but everyone understood it was a great opportunity. He headed to London, bringing along Geezer Butler for support. Butler was also intrigued by the experience and was even allowed to attend rehearsals. However, what shocked Tony the most was the rigid schedule. Rehearsals started at exactly 9 a.m., quite different from the usual rock band lifestyle. Iommi initially believed he was already part of the band, but he soon realized he still had to audition. Several well-known guitarists were also trying out, but in the end, he got the spot. However, both he and Butler were 10 minutes late for their first rehearsal, which irritated Anderson. Iommi later recalled that when he sat down at the table, the band immediately warned him, "Don't sit next to Ian." He soon realized that Anderson preferred working alone, without bandmates interfering in his creative process. Ultimately, Tony stayed with Jethro Tull for only a few days. He later admitted that even during rehearsals, he felt out of place. "I thought I was in the band, but there was no real sense of unity." Ian Anderson asked him to at least stay until the filming of the movie, which he did. That's how Iommi became part of the Rolling Stones' Rock and Roll Circus, which is now considered an essential piece of rock history. Although his time in Jethro Tull was brief, it had a lasting impact on him. He realized that to build a successful band, strict discipline was necessary. When he and Butler returned to Earth, they started rehearsing on a strict schedule, pushing for more structured sessions. This wasn't easy, especially with Ozzy Osbourne, but in the end, this approach paid off, and we all know the results. Interestingly, Iommi even contributed slightly to Jethro Tull's album Stand Up, which was released after he left the band. The song Nothing Is Easy features two riffs that, as Iommi recalls, were his ideas. So, that was an interesting chapter in the life of the legendary guitarist we all admire and respect. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy.